What happens when a child dares to stand up for himself, only to find that the world has already judged him? Imagine the determined heart of a 13-year-old boy, Jordan Carter, stepping into a courtroom, his small frame dwarfed by the towering walls of justice. But instead of fairness, he faces suspicion, prejudice, and a prosecutor who has already written his story before he can even speak. The air in the courtroom is thick with tension, every eye watching as Jordan walks to the witness stand. His fingers clench into fists, his breath quick and shallow. This isn't just another trial. This is his future on the line. The murmur of voices fades as the judge signals for silence. Jordan takes his seat, his eyes locking with the man who seems to relish his fear. The prosecutor, a tall, imposing figure named Samuel Thornton, leans forward, his smirk barely hidden. His expensive suit, his polished tone, it all screams authority. But there's something else in his eyes. Disdain. "You expect this court to believe your version of events, Jordan?" he asks, his voice heavy with doubt. "A boy from your background? One who's already had his share of trouble?" Jordan swallows hard. He knows what's coming. He's seen the way people like Thornton look at him before, like he's a problem that needs solving rather than a kid who deserves a chance. The courtroom feels colder as Thornton continues, his voice laced with mockery. "So tell me, did you rehearse this little story? Do you think this is your big moment to play the victim?" He chuckles, shaking his head. "I've seen plenty like you, Jordan. And let me tell you something. People like you don't change." A quiet hush falls over the room. Jordan grips the edge of the stand, his pulse racing. He's been fighting against expectations his entire life. He's tired of being told who he is before he even has the chance to show them. Summoning all the courage he has left, he lifts his chin and meets Thornton's gaze. "I'm telling the truth," he says, his voice steady. "I didn't do what you're accusing me of. And I'm not going to let you decide who I am just because of where I come from." A ripple of unease spreads through the audience. Even the judge seems to shift slightly in her chair. Thornton's smirk fades, if only for a second. Jordan's words hang in the air, a challenge to a system that has never truly seen him. Thornton regains his composure, his lips curling in amusement. "The truth, huh? That's cute." He straightens his tie, turning his attention to the jury. "But let's be real. Truth doesn't matter when the facts are against you." The judge's gavel slams down. "Enough. We're taking a recess." The courtroom erupts into hushed whispers, but Jordan remains still. His mother, seated in the front row, watches him with a mix of pride and fear. She's always told him to stand tall, to speak up for himself. And for the first time, he feels like someone is actually listening. As the recess ends, the courtroom fills once more. Jordan takes a deep breath as he steps back into the spotlight. His defense attorney, Rebecca Langley, stands beside him, her voice steady. "Jordan, tell the court what happened." Jordan exhales, steadying his nerves. "I was at the convenience store. I just wanted to grab a snack after school. Then I heard yelling outside. And before I knew it, the police came in and grabbed me. They said I was part of it, but I didn't even know what it was." Langley nods. "Did you resist arrest?" Jordan shakes his head. "No, I was scared. I kept asking what was happening, but no one would tell me." Thornton smirks as he steps forward. "Scared, huh? Funny, because from what I hear, you've had some trouble at school before. Isn't that right?" Jordan tenses. He knows what's coming. "You've been written up for talking back to teachers, haven't you?" Thornton presses. Jordan hesitates, then nods. "Once. I asked why only kids like me were getting detention for things other kids did too." Thornton crosses his arms. "And last year a fight. Care to explain?" Jordan clenches his jaw. "Another kid shoved me first. I pushed back. That's all." Thornton scoffs. "So, you do have a history of being aggressive." Jordan grips the stand, his voice firm. "Standing up for myself isn't aggression." A murmur spreads through the room. Even the jury is watching him differently now. Langley turns to Jordan. "Did you see the crime take place?" "No." "Did you commit the crime?" "No." No further questions. The judge turns to Thornton. "Mr. Thornton?" Thornton hesitates. For the first time, he has nothing left to say. "No further questions," he mutters. The judge glances at the jury before nodding. "Court will reconvene tomorrow." As Jordan steps down, his mother rushes to his side, squeezing his hand. He knows this isn't over, but for the first time in his life, he feels like he's taken back a little piece of his future. He told his truth, and this time, they had no choice but to listen. Jordan has always known life wouldn't be easy. Raised by his single mother in a neighborhood where opportunities feel more like dreams than possibilities, he's had to learn strength early. His mother, Ava Carter, works long hours at the diner, always reminding him that the world doesn't get to decide his worth. He's smart, too smart for people who don't want to believe in him. He excels in school, loves reading about the law, and dreams of becoming an attorney one day. He wants to change the system that has never been fair to kids like him. But none of that matters when people only see what they want to see. He's been followed in stores, questioned by security guards for no reason, stopped by police who just wanted to check. He's been called things that made his stomach turn. And now, as he sits in a courtroom, it all feels like one more moment where he's already lost before he's even begun. But he refuses to let them win. Not today. Samuel Thornton is a man who thrives on control. In his world, justice isn't about fairness. It's about winning. He's made a name for himself as the guy who doesn't lose cases, the one who always keeps his courtroom in check. But beneath his sharp suit and polished arguments, there's something more insidious. Thornton doesn't just see Jordan as another case. He sees him as a statistic. He's already decided that this kid, this boy from a rough part of town, is guilty. Because to him, that's just how the world works. Thornton has gotten away with these biases before. People whisper about the way he talks about cases involving kids like Jordan, but no one challenges him. No one has ever stood in his way. Until now. Jordan Carter isn't acting the way he expected. He isn't stumbling over his words, isn't cowering under pressure. Instead, he's fighting back. And for the first time in a long time, Thornton feels something he's not used to. As Jordan steps out of the courtroom, the crisp air feels different against his skin. Lighter, freer. The weight that had pressed on his chest since the moment he was accused is still there. But now, it's accompanied by something new. Hope. His mother, Ava, grips his hand tightly, her fingers trembling. She has always told him to fight for his future, to never let the world define him. Today he did just that. But as they walk down the courthouse steps, he knows this battle isn't over. Inside, Thornton is likely already planning his next move, strategizing how to twist the evidence, how to regain control. The system doesn't change overnight, and men like Thornton don't suddenly see the truth because of one strong-willed boy. But something in that courtroom shifted. Jordan saw it in the way the jury sat forward in their seats, in the way the judge seemed to consider his words rather than dismiss them. Even Thornton, with all his arrogance, had hesitated. That moment, the silence after Jordan's words hung in the air, was proof that they had heard him. As they reached the bottom of the steps, Jordan looks up at the sky, the weight of the day settling over him. Tomorrow, the trial will continue. More questions, more accusations, more chances for them to break him. But they won't, because today he realized something powerful. He is more than their expectations, more than their labels. He is not a statistic, not a cautionary tale, not a face in a system designed to erase him. He is Jordan Carter, and he will not be silenced. He turns to his mother, who looks at him with pride shining in her weary eyes. "You did good today," she whispers. Jordan nods, his heart steady. "I'm not done yet." And he isn't. No matter what happens in that courtroom tomorrow, no matter how hard they try to push him down, he will stand. He will fight. Because for the first time, he knows his voice matters. And once a voice like his is heard, it can never be unheard again.